Hi guys, it's Danny from the ScrapFx design team for November 2021. Today I'm doing an art journal page in my junk journal using rice paper as my background. So I've selected this rice paper. This one is called Perfect Buds Collage paper, and I've just wet it with a brush just so that I can get a fluffy sort of edge when I'm tearing off that white border. And here I'm just sort of checking the sizing, getting it down on my layout. So I'm using matte medium to glue the rice paper down, so I'm just putting a layer down first, making sure that I'm covering that die cutout on the left hand side, and then layering some more matte medium down. And now coating the rice paper with more matte medium over the top, and this will just give me a really good adhesion to the page. And it also helps just to make sure that I haven't got any creases or air bubbles in there as well. So just gluing that all down with matte medium and giving it a really good coverage. So a quick dry now with my heat tool. And now I'm going to try and embed that rice paper into the rest of the layout. So I'm just picking some paints that are very similar to the background, and I'm sponging that on the white areas that are exposed on my journal page. So I'm just adding that paint down and giving it a couple of layers, as some of these paints are translucent. And so just going back and forth until I'm sort of happy with the way that it's blended, and basically just trying to make that paper bleed into the paintwork so that it really embeds into the page. So here I'm using the ScrapFx stencil flower buds. I've picked this one because it has got the protea heads on there and it's already printed on the rice paper, so I'm just sort of extending the same pattern throughout, and this is also going to help to embed that background into the layout. So I'm just sponging through the stencil and basically adding some more layers of these little protea heads to the base of the page. Once that's all dry, I've gone through with my Posca pen here, and I'm just doing some rough doodles similar to the printed protea, and basically trying to replicate the already printed image onto the stenciled area as well. And now I'm using a black Posca pen as well, and just tracing out the outline of those proteas. So here I'm using a ScrapFx stamp. This one is called Number Crunch, and I'm just adding that to the background as well. There was a little bit of printing in the rice paper, and so I'm basically just continuing that stamping on in the background. And again, another ScrapFx stamp. This one is Leafy Circle stamp. And so I'm just stamping out a few of the leaves across the top of the page. And again, this really has incorporated or helped to incorporate that rice paper into the background. So it really becomes a background that looks like it may be painted. And for the unsuspected viewer, it kind of is hard to distinguish if that was rice paper to start with at all. And that's kind of the effect that I'm going for here. So now I'm just doodling around all those stamped leaves with a little bit of Posca pen in the white and black. And this messy doodling is just sort of makes it a little bit more hand-drawn and a little bit more whimsical. This is the October collage sheet, Patchwork birds, and I'm just using 3 of the little birds here. I'm actually going to fussy cut out 2 of them, so the large and the medium. And I'm going to use these 2 little birds as my focal point. And you'll notice that the birds have actually got some of that collage paper printed in them, so hence why I selected the rice paper to start with. So I'm just edging with some black ink here, just so that we don't have that sharp cut line on the collage birds. And it also helps for them to pop off the page a little. And now I'm just putting a little bit of white paint down, just sponging a little bit there, just to give it a bit more of a ghostly effect, just so that the birds have got no distraction behind them. And I'm grounding them with a little bit of book paper, so I'm just tore a couple of little strips and I'm gluing those down with matte medium. And now gluing my birds in place, and that paper, the book paper, just helps to ground the birds on the page. And just to finish the page up, I've just used a little bit of paint splatter. And that's it, my journal page is completed. So this is just a really quick and easy way to create an art journal page without going to too much trouble. And when you've got limited time, this is a great way to start. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, you've got some inspiration out of it, and have a go at using some rice papers for your backgrounds. Until next time, thanks for watching.